Welcome back to the LCS Challengers League. We are here in week number 3, day 2. I'm Mazel, joined by Magical and Joshi yet again. But before we move on to our little halftime bit, I do want to take a second to pull away the positives of that first game, especially for Dignitas playing from strength to strength, it feels like, Joshi.
Yeah, I mean, we got to see their bottom side of the map, like, even though it didn't have the strongest start, just totally take things over, and they were able to just slowly pick off every single member of FLYF over the course of the game. And, you know, despite some strong laning phases coming out from FLYF, we still are seeing the big difference in experience come through.
Yeah, you have any big takeaways that you want to see at least moving forward for FLYF there, Magical?
Lunasia is playing really well in that top lane. I also would still like to see Maniac on something a bit more comfortable. You know, first time here in the NACL, give them something that they feel more confident playing, especially against a team as powerful as Dignitas Challengers, because you want to have all your members pretty much going at top speed, the engines revved fully up, so that way, someone that's like, I'm not as comfortable on this champion. I don't know exactly where I need to make these plays just yet because I need more time with the team.
Yeah. All that said, I still really want to ask Lunasia at some point why he didn't kill Hoon the second time. You know? Like, that's one of those things where it's just like, it feels so obvious, right? That this should be a kill. But there's clearly something they saw that they didn't like, and so that gives them an opportunity for Hoon to kind of come back. But Lunasia, I mean, the fact that they get, again, I said 1.5 solo kills up against one of these players that we have been praising so much, I still am very excited for this young rookie.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we gave a nice little recap of what we saw in game number 1. But now we get to have our halftime bit, and then we'll move on in game number 2. So, to get you guys on the same page today, got a little bit of a word association game. NA plus CL. You guys know it well. You guys played it last week. It did not go well for you.
No.
It is do or die. We're going to go like do or die moment here for you guys.
Got to do it on the first word or we're off.
First word. If you do, you're out for the rest of the day. No, but what I'd like to do with this one is we have some themes. I have chosen some players, things like that. And I'm going to present them to you. Now, I'm going to then give you just a couple seconds to think of the first word that comes to your mind when you think of that theme or presentation that I have given you. And you guys are going to say it at the same time.
Why this game's so hard for me? Because you say, think of the first word that comes to your mind, and my brain doesn't work like everyone else's. Okay. So you could say something like Lunasia. And my first word that comes to my mind could be pineapple. I can't tell you why, but pineapple is what came to my mind.
Well, I mean, that's where Joshi is now going to have to figure out a way how to make this work, because that's going to be an interesting correlation. But to finish explaining Magical, going to try to see if you guys can get on the same page and say the same word describing said player or thing. So let's go ahead with our first one. You guys ready to go? Get your brain juices flowing.
Yeah, let's do it.
Lunasia. What is the first word that comes to mind when you think of Lunasia? And you know, maybe it's a freebie. We'll see. Maybe you want to delay a little bit of time. We'll find out. So 3, 2, 1.
Pineapple.
No way. Round of applause, guys. Round of applause. Everyone.
You set yourself up for that one. Magical just said what his word is going to be.
I want this for you. That's why I did that.
The problem is
first word on my document is not Lunasia.
I can't talk about like, oh, what does this mean about the player? It was just pineapple.
But the thing is I kind of want to make you guys do it again and not use pineapple, because we're supposed to talk about the players and not a random fruit that you just randomly thought of. So shout outs to you, Lunasia, getting that solo kill. I know Joshi talked about it a lot, but Lunasia actually popped off in game number 1. Want to see that consistency continue to be grown there at least. But the next one we have is maybe another easy one. I guess we'll find out. This was technically the first one I had on the list that was supposed to be another easy one. Insanity is the word. So I'll give you guys a couple seconds to think of your first.
You're not supposed to give us time. It's the first word that
pops. It's the first word.
So, well, you guys got to get ready, all right?
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1, go. Good job. See, that's what the first easy one was supposed to be. So now you've got 2 easy ones. 2. Free points. I'm making you guys feel good, right? Like you guys are feeling better than last week.
I feel like
I still have to think back to like when he reacted to all of our gameplay, and I think it was a little rough that my gameplay went first, but it was also probably the highest quality of your gameplay.
Wow!
And it just kept going
Little
down from
high
there.
horse
And
there,
then he's just like,
Joshi.
he watches me play Udyr mid for the first time, and he's like, oh, okay, this is the best it's gonna be, and he's like, all right, okay, we got it. We got to give all the praise to everyone else.
Hold on.
Yo.
Did you not hear what he said about my gameplay? I'm sorry.
You were
I'm
1
sorry.
in 12.
He said I was the best still. He's like, I got the mental. I did exactly what I needed to.
I just didn't know that you guys could fit a horse in your room. I mean, that's honestly incredible. Your high horse is up there, bro. It might have been the best version of the gameplay. So Insanity, the Udyr, obvious reasons, playing Udyr mid and actually kind of doing well. Now the next name, maybe a little bit more of a facilitator. It is XU. What is the first word that comes to mind when I say XU? 3, 2, 1.
Said 20.
Assists.
All right. Well, now we have our first actual fun time. So we have XU. Now, Sejuani and assists are the new correlation words. What goes between those two? What is the first thing that comes to mind when you think of Sejuani and assists? 3, 2, 1.
Ganks.
AP.
We're back to it, guys.
Yeah.
We're back to it.
I mean, we're close.
Yeah, we
We're back
are.
to it. All right.
Your participation in ganks.
All right. KP and Ganks for XU. 3, 2, 1.
Pathing.
Stuns.
What did you say, Joshi?
Stuns.
Stuns. Okay. So we're getting a little bit further away, I guess, to some extent. We went one jungle pathing, and then we went with back to the gank situation. So let's see if we can maybe get back in line. So first word that comes to mind when you think of those two. 3, 2, 1.
Jungle.
Ultimate?
Joshi?
Ultimate jungle.
Ultimate jungle. I mean, that's a cool catchphrase.
Yeah, it is.
Is XU the ultimate jungle? Oh my god,
No.
we might have just done it. Ultimate jungle. What is the correlation towards these two words in relation to XU? 3, 2, 1.
100%.
Arctic Assault. Damn.
Because I was thinking 100% for KP.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
All right,
Yeah.
we're
100%
floating.
Assault. We're
floating.
running away. We're running away at this point.
So 100% in Arctic Assault. What
Yeah.
could it be? 3, 2, 1.
CC.
Oh, I didn't even think of anything.
Oh my god. Yeah, Magical makes
control,
the case.
weird.
He's like, well, you can't get. You made the case, Joe. You can't give me time to think about it. Then like, what?
There's no thoughts going on. It's just like
No
wait,
thoughts, head empty.
100% Arctic
Positive
Assault.
gaming
It's gonna be
experience.
like pineapple or something.
Pineapple or something. All right. Well, you guys have failed the last one. At least I gave you the easy one.
No, we got this. We got this. Give us one more.
Wait,
Josh,
what
you know
are
what to,
we
you know what to say.
doing?
Josh, you know what
All
to
right.
say.
All right. The last game. What was it like? This game 1 between FlyFam and Dignitas Challengers. 3, 2, 1.
Controlled.
Expected.
I mean, that's not too far off between us.
All right, you got 40 seconds, so I guess we'll find out maybe if you can get this one together.
Expected and controlled?
Expected and controlled. What is the reference to this last game? 3, 2, 1.
Dignitas.
Clinical.
Clinical and Dignitas. I mean, the words go really nicely together.
they sound
They
nice.
aren't the same word though.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of the game. So Dignitas and Clinical. What could it be? What could it be? 3, 2, 1.
Diamond.
Dominant.
Wait, did you say diamond?
Yeah.
Okay.
I said dominant.
Diamond, dominant. They're almost the same. They both start with D's.
Yeah,
Good
they
job,
sound
guys.
similar.
Dominant dynamite.
Oh, Diamond, the player.
Yeah. Wait, that's
Yes.
what you're going for?
That's what
Yeah,
he
that's
went
what
for.
I said.
Yes.
Clinical and Dignitas. I mean,
Okay.
that's how he plays.
But all in all, it was a great performance from Dignitas in game number 1, even though FlyFam maybe had us in the first half or maybe the first little bit. We'll see if they can pull it back, though, guys, as I do believe draft is just about ready to go. So we're going to kick it over to that. Have fun.
All right, pineapple. There we go. We're on the same page now, Josh. We're
Are
back
we?
into this. Yeah, we just say pineapple. It's all good. We reset. We get into this game number 2. Like FlyFam has to reset going up against the Dignitas Challengers because that first early game, like we talked about, was good from FlyFam. It's always just how they're able to transition that to the mid game. Dignitas Challengers are probably one of our best teams at doing that.
Yeah, I mean, we've also seen that the way that XE has been playing and moving around the map, also very much benefiting from the strong shot calling around, and he can focus a lot more on his individual play from this point out. And we will see how well FLYF can rebound from the first one. Again, we've already noted that this team, the morale on the squad has really been suffering, and now we are going to be seeing how much Maniac can do. I liked what we saw from Maniac, at least stylistically, even if not mechanically. I love the fact they were still trying to go for things, but now we need to see them kind of rebuild that and continue to look for these stronger opportunities as the game goes further.
As we are underway in our champion select, still see that Lucian pick for Tomo. Being on the blue side this time around, still feels very confident with that with Diamond. We've seen how much practice they've already put into that this year, last year as well. Not too surprising to see that. Plus, even if lane phase doesn't go too well, there's always the idea with Lucian that, sure, you might not always dominate lane phase, but as long as you can get to the mid game where you can just use the calling to clear up minion waves really quickly, as well as nearly delete one person if you're able to get all the shots onto someone.
Yeah. Well, we are seeing a very different bottom lane coming through from the FLYF, right? They were playing the Varus Ashe, but they're the ones banning away the Ashe this time around. And also, for anybody who is still curious about XU hovering the Katarina every single time, it is in honor of his girlfriend. They've been going together for quite a while, and it's pretty cute. But
it is.
Now that we see the same very similar things coming out from the Dignitas Challengers, the same bot lane, they are swapping junglers. It is, again, a very expected bottom lane coming out from the FAM, with the Zeri and the Lulu coming through. They can actually fight, especially in their early couple levels, especially if they get there before Lucian and Nami. And so I'm expecting a little bit more shenaniganeries, if you will, as they come down to the bottom lane first.
I would like to see that, especially playing this Sejuani, changing it up, more the tank style, not necessarily going to be that carry that Maniac kind of made his name on back in like the open qualifiers of Proving Grounds, like we talked about the Kayn, the Evelynn, Viego, more those type of champions. But as we get into the second part of the band, lane phase, this is really what we're going to see targeted. And of course, they're just saying, you know what, Insanity, that Udyr was annoying as heck. We're getting rid of that. No more of that.
So we'll get to see what else Insanity can play. One of the things
he's got a notion, man. He's got so much stuff he can play.
FLYF are banning the Akali. That's a bit surprising to me, considering it is one of Blaze's best characters, and Insanity is not like an insane Akali. Like, he's not a bad Akali, but it's not like this is a major issue for them compositionally. They have a lot of crowd control. They have the polymorph coming through. That's point and click. I'm very surprised at what FLYF is kind of pivoting towards at this point, because it feels like they are building more towards a scaling composition, but they definitely need to make sure that they get their players on things they are still confident on.
And this is where we look at this next part of the picks, and K'Sante being left open, but same with Fiora for Hoon, something that he has liked to play into K'Sante, and actually that's why we've been talking about Hoon having grown a lot, especially in this split, has been a lot of that Fiora gameplay, knowing the limitations up against something that can actually get punished like K'Sante, which, again, expected for Lunacia, but now I'm expecting Hoon to grab Fiora.
Would not be surprised by that even a little bit, right? It is one of Hoon's better characters that we have been seeing. And the K'Sante, as you said, it is a skill matchup, but the Camille was not a bad skill matchup into Lunacia either. And so taking another... Oh, I don't like that.
No,
don't like that.
I'm not as big a fan of that either.
No, I mean, as a huge Gnar apologist, a huge Gnar fan, it's so tough to play this character into K'Sante. K'Sante has so much kill pressure on you, especially in the early couple of levels and around level 6, that until you get the Trinity Force online, Gnar doesn't really have a lot of tools, and even once you have it online, it's not as though Lunacia can no longer interact. This Azir coming through from Insanity gives them a lot of long-range magic damage as well, and so from the FLYF, the only thing they have left to do is pick up Blaze as champion, and I don't think I've seen Blaze play anything, especially with the Akali and the Sylas off the table, that really hurts, but that's a good one. That is really good into the Azir, but I don't know how much I've actually seen Blaze play this.
Yeah, I was about to say, this is a counter that we saw all of last year, right? The Yone into Azir, making sure it's like, hey, you got your shoulders you can set up. We're just going to play in your face, make it really difficult for you to kind of combat around that. But like you said, I'd have to go to the research, look at the tapes and stuff like that to see just how much...
They've got games.
Okay, there are games. So I don't know the success rate and all that stuff that Blaze has had on this champion, but I kind of like it when you look at this top side of the map. I always love having melee champions in both top and mid lane when you have Sejuani on your team.
Yeah, I mean, it's very natural. It makes the Kings very strong, and we do see that the last time that they actually played this was going up against TSM Academy in Proving Grounds of summer 2022. And so Blaze, they have had opportunities to kind of strut this around. They were definitely playing a fair amount during the summer Proving Grounds Circuit qualifiers last year. Now going up against Insanity, this is going to be a tough task to actually find the advantages, but if they can do it, it creates a huge winning opportunity with how strong Yone gets later in the game.
And looking at lane phase, this has been FlyFam's strongest point on the game. They always look for these plays. They have their lanes actually win out when we don't think that they always will. But here they are, shenaniganeries, spotted out again. Not going to be able to get anything. Do they get the ward? Oh, so close.
Dang. Dang. Oh, a little bit of a
there we go.
damage coming through. And with 3 people getting it, it should not be enough to get you level 2 right off the bat. At least Sword and Diamond get a little bit of money for themselves and just kind of hanging out. But we do see a lot more vision is going to get picked up by Dignitas yet again as Diamond.
I like this play. I like this angle from Instinct and Sword. They saw Tomo start W, which, you can do as Lucian, but it's not going to make it so that you have that dominant level 1 power that you could fight against Instinct and Sword with.
Yeah, I mean, it is one of the things. It does about the same damage as the Q and is faster and harder to dodge, which is why a lot of Lucians will go for the W at level 1. But this is also what we were saying. If Instinct and Sword can take control of the lane before Tomo and Diamond are there, it actually gives them a lot of opportunities for early play. So I like the fact that they are sticking around, creating space, and starting to burn out Diamond's mana pool before they can really start attacking the HP.
It's funny, you talked about the W being like a typical start. I like it on most cases. I don't know why. I just don't like it into Zeri Lulu. You can see like it just loses a lot of, I think, wave clear especially, that could kind of try to fight for that level 2. And we're seeing how pinned back Tomo and Diamond are because of it. Even if they're getting a little bit of chip damage back onto Instinct and Sword, they have no lane control.
Yeah, but the thing is, you were never going to have lane control, even with the Q, because if you're using it on the wave...
You never know.
If Instinct and Sword just take both the Q and let them hit the wave, if your opponents are at your level, Alex, I'm sure the Q is much better.
hey, I won my game on Udyr mid. Thank you very much.
Proud of you. Well... Getting back into the game in a little bit, we are seeing that the junglers are on opposite sides of the map. Maniac did go for the 3 camps to bot lane last time around. Going to be doing the exact same thing. But again, with the wave this far back, it feels like a little bit of time from Maniac that is only here if XU is also here. So they get a ward down, but look at this. XU's moving towards the top side. That's a good read.
And completely unread by Maniac. Just bot lane. Doesn't even know that XU was looking for this play. Though, XU, instead of actually gaining the red buff, he just puts down some saplings, gaining vision control for when Maniac eventually does show up, and will take some chicken nuggets on his way out.
Yeah, but creating a lot of vision control up on the top side. Insanity has priority in the mid lane to play with as well. They get the chicken nuggets and can look for the fight afterwards.
Okay, well, XU just gets spotted out by Maniac as he just got back, so he's going to force the flash over the wall just to survive. Nope, with lane priorities in top and mid, looking at how Insanity's playing against Blaze, wow. This is not usually what you'd expect with this matchup. You expected much more the opposite way.
Well, I mean, it will become that way, but for now, Insanity's doing a fantastic job pushing Blaze back, and XU losing a lot of time, I think, because Insanity was calling, hey, no, I want to continue beating this guy up underneath his own turret. You don't need to worry about me, but I can't move to help you either. So, a lot of pushing and pulling coming out from both sides, and so far, FlyFam in everywhere but the mid lane is having a strong early performance, even if it has been a little bit inefficient.
So with the resets from bot lanes, no real, I mean, just a little bit of a crash, so a couple minions lost out by Instinct bot lane, but nothing severe.
Hello.
We got to put our focus onto these junglers and kind of measure how Maniac has been so far. His first real appearance here, well, his first appearance here in the LCS Challengers League. So far, how do you think his early game, especially since that's got to be the measure we look at when we look at FlyFam, has been in comparison to XU?
Got a lot of gumption. I'll give him that, right? I love the fact that Maniac is looking for plays, but it doesn't feel as though FlyFam has been as effective at reading the map and knowing what plays to go for as a lot of the other teams. But the good thing about that, Magical, is that part is teachable. You can have the coach come through and be like, okay, well, this wasn't the play. This is what we should be doing instead with the time. But it's very hard to teach people to just go for it. Just look for opportunities. And that's something that does give me some hope about where Maniac can go.
Speaking of looking for a play, XU, he's hanging around the spot lane. Will back off instead. Not wanting to make a play. Having confidence in Tomo and Diamond with a good trade there onto Instinct. Yeah. This is also something when you have the Lulu Nami lane, right? Lulu can provide shields, polymorph, but Nami's going to out-sustain and make it a lot easier, especially if you can land a bubble like that onto Instinct, forcing out first blood before Maniac can do anything. That is going to be devastating for the Fly fam.
That's a huge turnaround in this lane. XU is here, doesn't have flash. Good flash from Sword, make sure that they actually get out, but look very similar to the exact same situation in game 1, but Dignitas come out ahead this time. They crash this lane, they recover all of the CS differential that Instinct and Sword were already building up.
It's a bit tragic there for Instinct. Thought he could out-damage, out-DPS Tomo Diamond. Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. And Instinct's here, too. They've canceled the back of Tomo. Diamond's going to be their target instead, knowing that he is the easy mark. Getting the dash away from Tomo, but he still has flash, so he'll be fine.
There are definitely players who are just like, sorry, Diamond, you're a bit screwed there. I'm going to finish this back. Good luck. And I love the fact that at least Diamond hangs on to all their summoner spells, but that's the kind of playmaking we were asking for from Maniac. Coming down here, but not able to get into the next bush, not able to get close enough, and that's going to be one of the big differences between a lot of these players, between some of the more experienced players. But the fact that they lose that kill and have time for Zeri to come back as they wrap around, expecting Dignitas to not sit there and create space for everybody to back away, that's the kind of play that I love seeing out from these rookies.
A little greedy on the play from Dig Challengers as well, but like you said, it's good to see the proactivity out of Maniac. You tried to make that play, had the bubble not connected onto Instinct, definitely would have been FlyFam favored, but the fact that they recommit, they continue to look for that play to make sure that Instinct gets back into lane, he gets a kill, and he can remain in control of the CS lead.
Yeah. So, we will continue to see if FlyFam are able to convert this lead into the later stages of the game. Again, setting up the fact that that is what Dignitas' strength is. And so, as we are seeing that the lead is not there coming up from FlyFam right off the bat, it does make the rest of their matchup a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, but it's not like they're far behind, right?
They're not out. They're not out. They scale better.
They scale better. The biggest problem is when we look topside. This is where Nard does have a lot of power against Cassante is early into the game, because when you're mini, you outrange him, you're able to poke him out pretty low whenever he tries to step up, but as the game gets further, it's going to be a little bit more difficult for you to consistently kite out a Cassante.
It gets easier, actually. Once you have the Trinity Force online, you are so fast.
Yeah, easier then, but I'm talking about, like, have you seen a Cassante on top of it? Wait, hold on. Have you not seen the highlight reels of Cassante chasing down Gnar?
Yeah, I mean, when you get to one item, like, that is when Gnar is best in this matchup, right? When
yeah, I've seen him have 2 items that Cassante continues to chase him down.
Yeah. I mean, it is a situation where it's going to be on Hoon to create situations where you can actually kite effectively, keep yourself away from walls where Lunacia has a lot more control. And so,
which sucks for Gnar because he wants to be near walls. And speaking of sucks, mid lane, Insanity, nice use of the Emperor's Divide to survive.
Yeah, I mean, they are actually going to be staying alive, and XU will have enough time to clear out the Rift Herald as well. Maniac with no ultimate.
But they're looking for this play on XU, getting the flash. Another Summoner Burr and Blast Cone as well. Moon having gone mini. Didn't want to go for anything. There's a lot of cooldowns burned by FlyFam looking for Insanity. The fact that he survived, holds onto his flash, and XU is able to gain the neutral objective. Big wins across the board for Dignitas Challengers. And speaking of big wins, another bubble on to Instinct. But this time, not going for the full burst out of Tomo. Instead, it's going to be traded back and forth between Sword and Instinct.
Yeah, Sword's been doing a really good job at canceling the Collings almost instantly with the Polymorph, but still a lot of damage traded back and forth. And remember, Diamond has the sustain advantage. Uh-oh, this is the tough part.
This is what I was talking about. It's hard to kite as well. Lunacia's popped the Ghost. That's going to be the Gnar ult away. Hoon should be able to survive, but Lunacia's not done. He really wants this one. He wants this fight against Hoon. The knockback not going to connect, though, so Lunacia has to let the prey go away.
Ooh, little Gnar. Okay. Oh, it's not over. It's not over.
Don't fight him! Hoon! Just because you thought you could, it's still difficult. You put down the ward, looking for the hyper stack. Got it. Didn't have the Bonerang to look for that last bit of damage onto Lunacia. As Lunacia, it's got to be a little bit more cautious.
At the end of it, Hoon still gets control of the wave. Lunacia has no teleport, so Hoon will be able to crash this. So ultimately, even though it cost him his flash, he's still going to be continuing to build up the CS lead. But look at where Maniac is.
I like that. Again, Maniac is looking for these proactive plays, and the fact he's hovering around the bot lane, this is meta right now. A lot of people talk about how centric it is in bot lane. You always have to look at how they're able to play around this, and you can tell Maniac is well aware of that. The biggest problem, though, is with bot lane not having priority, mid lane not having priority, even top lane not having priority. You have no control over the neutral objectives you need to make sure that things can stay even.
Yeah, it's something that we've praised Heavy for in particular in the past because he has so much priority. He's really judged on his ability to either affect dives or pick up neutral objectives. And so far, XU's done a fantastic job. Blaze taking a ton of damage is very diveable.
Yeah, but Maniac was there. He was hovering around to possibly look for a play on Insanity. But with both Diamond and XU having rotated around to look for their own dive onto Blaze, pretty much was just a handshake. They're both like, you know what? Okay, nothing's really going to happen here.
This is a big shout out to David Insanity Chaw, right? Looking for these big opportunities to create a huge lead in the laning phase. He wasn't known as an insane lane. He was known as a good laner, but look at this bottom lane.
Okay, there's no defense here. That's a lot of damage on Atomo. Even with the culling, it's going to be the instant kill that he needs as Blaze looks for Insanity, trying to hop over the wall, getting a bit of trade, jumps back away, but Instinct, he got the wild growth, so he'll survive, getting himself that pivotal kill on Atomo.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things that we have been seeing from Instinct and Sword, their willingness to create plays early on in the game. They do have the 2 kills that might be a way for them to actually start controlling this a little bit now that they do have these scaling tools, but the top side of the map has kind of fallen apart.
Lunacia has not been able to back. Every single time he's tried, a boulder has been tossed in his face. But we look at the bot lane, a continued play onto XU, getting a lot of damage. He doesn't have flash, but he doesn't need it, as Insanity was able to scare away the remaining members of FlyFam from continuing the fight.
The burst combo isn't there just quite yet from Blaze. He needs more power, and Insanity goes.
Nice flash in with the Emperor's Defy, but the dash over the wall from Blaze. Looking a little bit of a trade on Insanity. And guess who showed up? It's Instinct to make sure they take down both mid and jungle.
Wow, that was wild. They tried to make the play, but XU doesn't have any flash to help out with the play. It's just a 1v1. Insanity basically goes down, and now they're finding Diamond as well.
Diamond tried to go to put a ward down around the chickens. He'll be fine, but these are big plays coming in from FlyFam here. And not quite the mid lane. I would argue the lane phase hasn't quite ended, even if we're having a lot of rotations around. But these are the plays we want to see from a professional team like FlyFam, learning from mistakes they had previously and making sure they are in firm control. Instinct is going to be the big member that we have to keep watching.
Yeah, did you see that Maniac stole the chickens with the jungle pet? Yeah, that's pretty good.
I saw that.
Yeah, great stuff coming out from FlyFam. They still need to find the advantage, but they're doing a good job. Tomo getting caught out a little bit.
Just a little bit. It was fine. Maniac is nearby, but there are no ults for Maniac nor Blaze, and with Diamond here calling available, Cleanse as well, would be difficult to actually secure this kill unless, of course, you have Instinct. That's going to be the big one. That's going to be the dash away, the flash in with a knock-up, and as long as you can whittle down and get a Rampage for Instinct, you have set him up to be a huge carry threat as Lunacia. This game is having a little bit more of a difficult time against Hoon, as Hoon looks for it, but cannot get the boomerang to connect.
Wow, so many small plays going back and forth. I mean, it does look very similar to some of the issues we were having with Tomo's game last year, coming back to bite them as FlyFam very willing to take advantage of it. But this top lane, it was looking good for Lunacia in game 1. This is a total turnaround as Hoon goes back to a more comfortable champion to try and take total control. They've gotten 3 plays by themselves.
Yeah, and this is why we kind of focus on Hoon. We wanted to focus on Hoon versus Lunacia. Game 1, Lunacia was the one who eventually got control. Game 2, as you mentioned, look at the CS lead. Look at the plays. Look at all the damage Hoon's been able to do to Lunacia before he can even finish his item. We're now at 14 minutes. The first turret falls. That was nearly completely done by Hoon. XU kind of just showed up there and said, the lab partner you have back in high school, who's like, I helped. I was here the whole time. Yeah.
I definitely contributed to that, but still, Hoon 1,500 gold up over Lunacia at this point, half an item ahead. That's going to get worse for Lunacia before it gets better, right? This is supposed to be where Hoon is really strong in the matchup, and it's going to get really difficult for Lunacia to actually get away from all the movement speed that Gnar will have for a while. And so, with that side of the map completely ready to go, Dignitas are now moving towards the top side, where I think they should also be kind of comfortable. But they have to worry about Instinct, who is 4-1.
And as Instinct moves around, there's a good team built around protecting Zeri. Lulu, Sejuani, even looking at Cassante. Eventually, he's going to be someone who could just stay around. And look at this engage. They tried to attempt on a Maniac. But that's Maniac. You're trying to go Moon getting on top of Instinct, but they don't have the damage just yet. They haven't gotten the kill on top of him. They've got to whittle away. And with the shield, with the barrier, Instinct, he'll fall to the triple kill of Insanity. The consistent hero of Dignitas Challengers, looking for one remaining foe in Sword, as he completely, with his tail between his legs, tucks tail, running the wrong way. And you know Insanity wants it, but with the turret doing a lot of damage to Sword, it's only a matter of time before he'll eventually fall.
Diamond looking to cut him off as well. There's a lot of movement speed, and they just naturally come down here in order to try and pick up Dragon. Uh-oh.
No, they're just getting the kill. Wait for it. Wait, there it is. Boom. Okay. All right, let's look at what happened that last play. Right, let's talk about what we just witnessed.
So, ultimately, Dignitas are now very firmly in control of the game, and again, I want to praise FlyFM for trying to make things happen. They are making calls. Unfortunately, they're just not crossing their T's and dotting their I's as this one comes through. Hoon crucially finds the one person he needs to, gets the stun onto both Blaze and Instinct, gets the second stun onto both of them as well, and it makes Insanity's job so easy on the backside to walk forward, throw everybody back, and say, you can't go this way either. With nowhere to run, FlyFam get cleaned up by Dignitas, and they lose everything. They lost the Dragon. The Rift Herald was not picked up for FlyQuest at all, and with all these kills going over, Dignitas are now in total control.
And that was all off the bat. Like, I know you're praising Hoon, but come on, man. We gotta give Insanity.
Everybody, right? They just collapse all together. Insanity's job was so easy. Yes, he looked good. Yes, he's the big recipient. But the way that Dignitas pushed them towards him, he's like, haha, push back. What are you gonna do about it? It's like holding the little sibling back with just your hand on their head.
Oh, I like this. FlyFam still not giving up. Still looking for the fight, the rumble. XU is gonna be the casualty, but now the rest of FlyFam, they can get out of there. They'll take the one kill, a little bit of the consolation prize from the previous fight that had happened.
Yeah, so again, this is what I'm liking to see from FlyFam, right? We are saying that they are basically out, but they still have two very strong scaling players to build around. They still have Blaze, they still have Instinct, who are both strong. They will continue to do more and more damage, and as long as they aren't just letting Dignitas dictate everything on the map, they have Blaze.
Or if they can get these kills on Insanity, as Blaze got a lot of damage on top of him. Taps back. Insanity away from the wave, so the turret will still stand.
Ooh, Tomo.
Could be in a bit of trouble. Doesn't realize. Nobody ever suspects the Lulu Inquisition on the flank there. But the calling will scare off both Sword and Maniac.
See, even there, ooh, good dodge. Even there, they're trying to find something, but they're just not able to commit onto it. They don't have any of the crowd control necessary to get the fight actually started. And now Dignitas, they're going to be picking up another turret for themselves, opening up the bottom side of the map and making it impossible to actually try and defend the upcoming Dragon.
Still, yeah, Dignitas are definitely in control of this game. They've gotten a lot back for themselves, but I can't help but praise FlyFam for how this game has been up against a team that we expect to be one of our most dominant challenger teams, even if the games eventually get to the point of no return for them. They're, like you said, they are putting up fights. They are trying their damnedest to not just roll over and give up.
Yeah. I mean, they're trying to make things happen, right? And for a team that has only recently added Maniac to the squad, they have not had a whole lot of time to practice with them. They weren't even sure if they were going to be bringing on Maniac. There were a couple other names that they were trying out. So the fact that FlyFam are, you know, even just kind of hanging in with Dignitas Challengers, I think is exciting. And so we've said this a couple times, the morale in the camp has not been super high. I hope that this is a game that they look at and be like, yes, we should continue to try things. It's about limit testing and trying to improve, and wins will come later.
Right. It's one of those things you just got to learn from your mistakes, figure out where the holes are on the team identity, and fill those up. Like a sinking ship, as long as you patch it up, eventually the water's not going to keep flowing in.
And one of the things that has been interesting is we give a lot of praise to players like Jan. It might be the biggest example of this in recent memory, who's just an absolute grinder, plays crazy games every single day. And there were a couple other players that we're talking to, like Bradley was another huge grinder. And one of the players that was not a grinder historically that has become so is Blaze, right? Blaze was a player who was like kind of struggled to play solo queue during what was a previously crucial part of their career that now has really started digging in deep. And even though this performance hasn't been the most exciting thing just quite yet, it's the kind of thing where if you just play enough, if you continue to grind, you will get there.
I mean, and even still, he's not that far behind. Even if you can argue, yeah, it's the counter pick of Yone versus Azir, it's insanity. Probably one of our best mid laners. Like him and M&S are the ones that I'd say are in the competition for like the best ones with copy as well. You're going up against him. You're not that far behind in CS. You're 2-1 on Yone. You're finding impactful moments. You're trying to make sure that Insanity is not just going to absolutely carry. Sure, he did it in that last fight. Like you said, got set up pretty well by the rest of his team. But there are moments of greatness coming in from this team. And as long as they keep grinding, this game still, I would argue it's not out of reach. It's just very difficult.
All right, when you say that, give me a percentage.
Like a 5%.
Okay. All right. Okay. That is pretty close. I don't know if I would say that's not out of reach, but you know,
it's a non-zero.
Non-zero.
Right? That's like, and you know me. I'll root for the underdogs all the time. I'll be like, you know what?
You're the one who's going to play for the single out in the deck. You got to hit that flush with the ace, otherwise it's completely lost. But this is definitely a spot where they got to play for outs. They got to create some kind of chances on the map, and the fact that they're getting a turret back here is, you know, is something. They still need to put money onto Blaze. They still need to put money onto Instinct, and they need to create enough space. You said that this was a good composition for Instinct to actually shine as long as his front line can stand up.
Right, and the one big issue that we saw in the big fight that's kind of boiled this over to Dignitas Challengers being firmly in control is the flank opportunities that could set up Insanity to catch off Instinct. As long as Instinct remains untouched, as long as they make sure their Zeri is perfectly positioned where nobody can reach her, that's where FlyFam have that 5% chance to fight back in this game and to actually pull off a miraculous split against one of our best challenger teams.
Yeah, if they can do that, that would be really exciting. I would love a chance to talk to some of the FlyFam members, and whoever wins the second game does get that. Welcome to everybody coming in from the LEC to the Challengers League.
Welcome.
Today we have Dignitas Challengers going up against FlyFam. This is a former Academy team going up against one of the provisional teams coming through. And FlyFam are also playing with a brand new player in Maniac who has replaced Goo, who stepped down earlier this week. So while they're struggling, we've actually been rather impressed at the fact that they have been willing to go for plays.
You should have done it in like some sort of like epic announcer summary voice while you're saying that.
This time on Dignitas Challengers versus FlyFam.
Yeah, well, not this time, last time, right?
Last time.
Yeah, because it's like you're recapping. Tomo, though, nicely done. They've tried. They're attempting these plays. But now they got to wait for the cooldown on Maniac on Glacial Prison, which gives Dignitas even more opportunities to look to control the map. Utilizing Maokai and his vision control, you can see how they're trying to posture. That's going to be the calling, looking for Sword, even with Wild Growth. He only barely survives.
And even though they don't even get the kill, that's 139 gold going over to Tomo at the same time. That's an assist just picked up by throwing that out. And one of the things that I have always been entertained about with Lucian is my favorite thing that I've heard is that they scale with skill, but it's also one of these characters that just feels so good to play as Lunacia comes in, but they don't have their team. This is a tough fight.
There's no fight there. Maniac getting bubbled. Lunacia in the middle. Even with all out, he is in grave danger to get killed by the bot lane. It was Diamond who got kill credit. The Baron secured. Okay, double TP. It's going to be answered by Blaze, but it's going to be Hoon. Wait a minute. Everyone's just looking to party here into the bot lane.
Blaze taking a lot of damage.
Yeah, but he was at least able to deny Insanity from just ending the game outright right there. But with minions starting to accrue, they've got the 3 caster minions. Should be enough opportunity for them to at least get this past the threshold.
But at the same time, both these turrets have full core press coming through. The mid lane getting blasted apart. The bottom lane very shortly to follow. This is a good play coming after Dignitas. This is, again, very expected from them. The only thing that we can kind of criticize is they got caught out a little bit in the laning phase. In game 1 in particular, it was kind of rough, but they come back with a vengeance.
Well, this is how it's been for FlyFam. Their lane phase, we're confident in. They are looking good. They're finding these positions to fight, but it's always the team fights. The Dignitas Challengers dominate in with a huge Emperor's Divide. FlyFam, the fam is no more. They're all running away, but where do you run when your base is completely owned by Dignitas?
Yeah, Dignitas showing that family not all you need. Sorry, Vin Diesel. We're going to be picking this one up with a clean 2-0 going up against one of the provisional teams. But still, I still like the performance that we've been seeing from FlyFam as they still try and make things happen.
Wait, the game's not over just yet. Getting a little bit of the KDA's padded Maniac, trying to kite this out the best he can, but Tomo, he's got enough damage. Lunacia, the rookie, the new player here in the NACL, trying to fight with Sword, but they just can't do it. Like you said, it was a dominant 2-0 performance out of Dignitas Challengers.
And we love to see it. We love seeing Dignitas Challengers. We love seeing all these players come back with an opportunity for redemption. I'm expecting great things coming out from these guys. They now have more wins than Cincinnati Fear, at least for now, but Cincinnati Fear still has more games to play later this weekend. And so, with that, they are currently our #1 team.
Hey, props to them, Dignitas Challengers. They were one of my teams that I put in the top 3, so I'm not too surprised to see that. We got to see the standings as well. Thank you for this. Just to kind of illustrate, it's that close of a race at the top, and the fact that one of those teams, well, technically 2, because if you look, Wildcard's not that far behind either, are up in the race for the top. And going up against Challenger teams, you expect the Challengers to be the ones always favored, but that's not always the case, as we've already learned.
Yeah. And so, despite the fact that this was our current #1 versus our current last team, it's still an opportunity for FlyFam to say, hey, we did better than expected, and we need to be able to take that going forward. And so with the 2-0, it does mean that we are going to have an opportunity to talk to the Dignitas players.
And in fact, let's get that all ready. We're going to talk to break. Mazel is going to be back with that interview, so make sure you stay tuned.
Hello and welcome to week 2 of the NA Talent Update. OQs started this past week, so we had assistant coach sit down with some of the people following OQs to go over some of the top talent that you should keep your eye on. Here it is.
Yeah, I didn't watch any of the games. Can anybody help me out? What happened in the NACL qualifiers?
Coach, I know we normally like to draft talent from these top teams, but I think there's a star in the making on the number 10 seed. Yeah, I'm looking at Barrick, the 5-star top laner out of Mirage. I mean, this guy puts up results, plain and simple. He's beaten Golden Guardians Academy twice on 2 different teams in 2 straight years. I mean, that's no coincidence. And with his team against the ropes in an elimination game, he took matters into his own hands, picked up a penta on Gangplank.
Though, Paucus is alive. Arendelle jumping in, forgets that Xayah ult exists. Doesn't matter though. Holy f***, are they gonna win this? Please place a trap on Xayah. Oh my... Holy shit!
I mean, stats look great with intangibles through the roof. I mean, coach, we have to pick this guy up.
Okay, noted. What about over here?
The new player that Team Fish Taco just picked up, Dard. Nobody's ever heard of this guy. Just fresh off the ladder. Rank 1 on the ladder, by the way. Team Fish Taco, new jungler. Played really well. That Kindred game was out of this world. And yeah, like I said, nobody's ever heard of this guy. He's completely new. Definitely look into him, though. Just, you don't need to look at his Leaguepedia page. Just take my word for it. You're going to want him on your team.
This Dard player I'm going to keep my eyes on as a potential future prospect. Make sure to note that when I bring this information back to Cubby.
Thanks so much to Assistant Coach Kiss, and especially those OQ folks helping us out. Now, on to the big booty of the week with Mad Magic.
Welcome back, Gilland lovers, to another fine edition to the booty of the week. Our swashbuckler Hoon be finding themselves marooned on an isle with their matey. The black spot be given, and at the rope's end they tuck tail and run, about to be overhauled by the jackdaws. 'Tis only a matter of time before they feed the fish, or so Hoon wants them to believe. 'Tis no lily-livered landlubber. They be an old salt of the high seed, will be a mighty brawl before they end up in Davy Jones' locker. Show these scallywags what's for. Raise the Jolly Rogers for the mighty brethren fallen. Ah, shiver me timbers! The Sea Dog just cleaved them in a southern brisket. Give them no quarters, Beardy. Blow them all down and send them to the depths. Look at the cowardly swabs now, and remember this day as the day you was caught Captain Dig Hoon. Aye, and yo ho. That's be it.
Passing up free booty is tough, but Copy did that and found real treasure as he took down 4 in our Raw Pog moment of the week.
Today. But something I do want to come back to is Breezy getting caught in the mid lane, not able to get locked down too heavily now. And the Nature's Grass coming back both ways. Robbie Bob needs to get out of there, has the perfect execution, does get out. No, he uses down the back end. Now we got the 2v3
Copy's not going to finish.
happening. Shaden goes back in. Copy goes in as well on the backside. Kevy flashes out, flashes and flashes and flashes,
Copy.
but it's Copy who comes out on top. Breezy's chasing him down. Copy one more, and a double kill for the mid laner. Robbie Bob goes back in. Two-shot barrage across the back.
Woo! Poggers.
And that's been it for us at the NA Talent Update Week 2. Special shout out to the OQ folks and everyone that helped me put together this episode. We'll see you week 3, but until then, may your week be filled with positive gaming experiences.
Welcome back to the Verizon post-game interview. I'm joined by the mid laner of Dignitas Challengers, Insanity, after an insane series, after an Udyr game number 1 that we'll get to talk about a little bit later on. But we are now rounding out week number 3 of the NACL here tomorrow. How are you feeling personally about Dignitas and your own play?
I think we're doing pretty well. Obviously, we had some int moments these last 2 games, and I think versus our CLG series as well. But I think if we fix our kind of small issues, we'll be definitely one of the better teams, or best, if not.
All right, I like it. And I mean, you guys are in first place right now, so no big deal. Now, we did get to hear your thoughts on the Udyr gameplay of our casters, but then you picked a game number 1 and kind of smurfed on it. What are your thoughts on the Udyr gameplay, the when to pick it, and kind of what your approach is on the champion?
I don't want to share too much on when to pick it or anything like that, but I think the champ is kind of probably, in my opinion, one of the most broken champs in the game, so I'm just kind of having fun with it, because I don't think it's really pickable in jungle right now. But, somebody's got to play it, so it's definitely going to be me.
I love it. Somebody's got to play it, so it's absolutely insanity. Now, we did see the wholesome photo earlier that you guys took. Now, it's not on the pose level from last year, but I love to see that kind of cohesion with the squad. How are the vibes with you guys?
The vibes are immaculate. I don't know. Not much else to say. It's just been a good time. I feel like everybody is working hard and trying to improve, so, I mean, for me, it's exactly what I wanted out of this team.
That's great to hear. And we know that you were pretty vocal last year as well, in terms of kind of direction of the team, but now finding yourself with Diamond, who is also a very vocal individual when he was on FlyQuest and direction. How does the communication structure work for you guys on the team now?
I'd say it's pretty similar to last year. I just think that Diamond is a lot more vocal than I'm used to in the teams that I've played on, so obviously I'm talking a bit less, but it's not like nobody's really talking at all and it's just one primary person. But I think it helps a lot, especially in scrims and stuff like that, because we actually get through a lot of our problems and actually talk about it.
I've actually really liked you guys separately, the way you guys think about the game. Have you guys been able to bounce ideas, theory craft stuff off each other like that?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously we both haven't really played together pretty much ever, so the only place we know each other from is solo queue and stuff like that. But I mean, I'm kind of just soaking knowledge right now from him, and I'm sure he's learned something from me too. But going forward, obviously that's what I want. I just want to keep bouncing ideas and learning more from each other.
It's creativity is beautiful. Now you do find yourself at the top of the table. We already said it. Any thoughts on your competition so far or from here on out?
Not really any thoughts, negative or positive. I
No
mean,
standouts? No,
I just
nobody
play the
you really
game
want to
and
face?
continue competing, you know?
Okay.
I mean, I've already faced Eminez, and he was like one of the few mid laners that I wanted to play against, and I will say I think I had a pretty bad showing versus him, but like any other day, I think it'd be a lot more fun for people to watch.
All right. Well, I look
So
forward
hopefully
to
we
seeing.
get to see them in like playoffs or something.
I was going to say, I look forward to seeing that rematch sometime in the future. That one's going to be a fun one. Well, I want to give you a chance to give any shout outs. Anybody you want to talk about here?
Just shout out to the team, the coach, the org. I mean, just keep putting in hard work.
Appreciate you as always, Insanity. We'll talk to you very soon, I'm sure, as we are going to send it away to a small little break here and get ready for our second series of the day. So don't you go anywhere.